cleaned the glass because you loved the light. You opened the curtains because you wanted your home to feel warm, placed the feeder where you could see the cardinals, the chickadees, the warblers, the tiny visitors that make a yard feel alive. You did everything right. You built something beautiful. And some of it may be turning the sky into a wall. This is not a story about careless people. This is not a story about bad bird lovers. This is a story about a danger that hides in plain sight, because to a wood thrush flying from 40 feet away, your window may not look like a window at all. It may look like an oak tree. It may look like blue sky. It may look like a safe gap between branches. By the time that bird realizes the world did not continue, its body has already chosen flight. The American Bird Conservancy warns that birds do not understand glass the way we do. They evolved around branches, air, leaves, shadows, and open space, not invisible walls that reflect habitat back at them. So today, we are not blaming you. We are giving you the missing map. Welcome back to Backyard Bird Whispers. If you care about the birds that visit your yard, subscribe, because this channel is about the small human choices that can quietly decide whether a bird returns tomorrow. Stay until the end, because the last fix is the one most people get wrong. It sounds protective. It feels obvious. For millions of birds, it does almost nothing. But one. The beautiful reflection that turns your window into open sky. This is the first trap, because it does not look like a trap. In morning light, an east-facing window can hold a perfect copy of the yard. White-throated sparrow sees the dark shape of an oak branch. A yellow warbler sees soft green leaves. Hermit thrush sees what looks like a clean passage through the understory. And the bird believes it. Not because it is foolish, because every part of its body was built for a world where trees are real, air is open, and sky does not suddenly become solid. From 40 feet away, that reflection can read like continuous habitat. 40 feet is about the length of a school bus. That is enough space for a small bird to turn a normal flight into a fatal launch. The American Bird Conservancy has spent years warning about this exact problem. Birds cannot naturally decode reflected vegetation as a barrier, and that changes how you see one tiny movement. When a black-capped chickadee pauses near your porch rail and tilts its head at the glass, that is not just cuteness. That is a nervous system trying to solve a puzzle evolution never handed it. Bird that stays alive around your home is not just lucky. It is negotiating with a world we accidentally made confusing. So look at your windows from outside. Stand where the birds fly. If you see trees, sky, or shrubs reflected sharply in the glass, bird may see a doorway. And that doorway needs to be closed before its body says yes. Number 2. The feeder distance that quietly creates a collision runway. This one hurts, because it starts with kindness. You put the feeder near the window so you could watch them. A northern cardinal cracking sunflower seed. A dark-eyed junco hopping under the tray. Chickadee landing, grabbing one seed, vanishing like a tiny black-capped spark. That closeness feels like connection. But the Cornell Lab of Ornithology warns that feeder distance matters more than most people realize. The danger zone is not always right against the glass. It is often between 10 and 30 feet away. 10 to 30 feet gives a frightened bird enough room to accelerate. That space becomes a runway. A hawk sweeps low across the yard, or a squirrel jolts the feeding crowd, or one bird panic flushes and the others follow. They can hit the window with lethal speed. This is where the fix feels backwards. Feeder should either be very close to the glass, within 3 feet, or far away, beyond 30 feet, within 3 feet. A startled bird usually cannot build enough force to die on impact. 3 feet is shorter than a kitchen counter. It feels too close, but physically it can be safer. Beyond 30 feet, the bird has more room to redirect before it reaches the house. But the middle distance is the cruel one. It gives the bird just enough trust to visit, just enough fear to flee, just enough space to become a missile. And this is where you become the hidden shield. By moving one feeder, you are not decorating the yard differently. You are removing the runway between panic and glass. Number 3. The 2 hours after sunrise. This is when your yard can look most peaceful. The grass is wet, the feeder is busy. A yellow warbler moves through the maple leaves like a small flame with wings. Wood thrush steps quietly through the shade, barely heavier than a handful of coins. Everything feels soft. But biologically, this is one of the most dangerous windows of the day. During the first 2 hours after sunrise, birds are hungry, active, and moving fast. They are foraging after a long night. They are shifting between shrubs, trees, feeders, and cover. And if your window faces east, the sun can turn it into a bright mirror. Avian, behavioral, and collision corridor research identifies this exact overlap as a danger point. Strong morning reflection combined with high bird movement. The bird is not just seeing glass, it is seeing breakfast. It is seeing cover. It is seeing the continuation of the yard. Then, the final 90 minutes before dark can repeat the same trap on west-facing windows. The light moves, the mirror changes sides, and the danger quietly relocates. That means collision prevention is not only about what your window looks like, it is about when your window lies most convincingly. So do one simple thing tomorrow morning. Step outside during those first 2 hours. Look at the glass from the angle of the feeder, the oak tree, the hedge, the bird bath. If the window is holding a perfect picture of the yard, that is not scenery. That is bait. Number 4. The impact that does not always look deadly. Sometimes you hear it, a small dull tap. Not a dramatic crash, not shattered glass. Just one soft sound against the window, then silence. Then there is a bird on the ground, maybe a white-throated sparrow, maybe a hermit thrush. Psst. Maybe a warbler so light it feels impossible that such a small body could carry that much consequence. This is where most people panic. They want to pick the bird up. They want to hold it. They want to warm it in their hands. That instinct comes from love. But for a stunned bird, hands can become another emergency. Impacts can cause concussion and disturb the vestibular system, the tiny balance system inside the head that tells the bird which way is up, so the bird may sit still, blink slowly, lean to one side, breathe with its body low. That stillness is not trust. It is injury. Wildlife rehabilitation protocols warn that handling can spike cortisol. The stress hormone that tells the body danger is everywhere. A tiny bird, that surge can push the heart too far. The safer move is simple. Small cardboard box, air holes, a soft cloth or paper towel inside. Darkness, quiet, no food, no water. Exactly 30 minutes. In many rescue protocols, that quiet recovery window gives stunned birds a real chance to reset. Some rehabilitation guidance reports recovery rates near 90% when the bird is protected from stress and predators during that short period. Not abandoning it by not touching it. You are giving its nervous system a room with the lights off. 5. The alarm call your yard makes after the strike. Window collision is not always private. One bird hits, but the whole yard may hear it. Black-capped chickadee in the lilac bush freezes. A cardinal drops lower into the hedge. Honko stops moving under the feeder. Then the sound changes. The yard tightens. The University of Washington, has shown that chickadee alarm calls can shift with threat level. When danger feels more serious, the call can carry extra syllables, like the bird is adding more exclamation points to the warning. To human ears, it may sound like chatter. To birds, it can be a neighbourhood alert. And this is the part most people miss. That small thud against your window does not only injure one body, it can teach every bird nearby that your feeding station is not safe. The chickadee that used to come closer, the cardinal that arrived first every morning, the sparrow that learned your yard's rhythm. They are not abstract wildlife. They are individuals, they remember places, they test safety, they adjust. And when they keep coming back after you fix the glass, that is not random. That is a wild animal giving your yard a second vote of confidence. Tiny beak on a branch, a pause before landing, a decision to stay. That is the art of permission. You do not force trust from a bird. You remove the danger, stand back, and let the yard answer. Number 6. The night lights that pull migrating birds off course. This one happens while you are sleeping. The feeder is quiet. The cardinal is tucked deep in cover. The chickadee has folded itself into a safe little cavity, using the darkness like a blanket. But far above your roof, another world is moving. Billions of nocturnal migrants travel at night. Warblers, thrushes, sparrows, birds small enough to fit in your palm, crossing distances that would exhaust a machine. They use starlight. They use the Earth's magnetic field, Prost. They use the old, invisible map that carried their ancestors across the continent. Long before streetlights, office towers, porch lamps and glowing windows filled the night. Then artificial light interrupts the map. A lit room at 11:30 p.m. A bright kitchen window. A decorative yard light shining upward into the trees. To us, it feels harmless. To a migrating wood thrush, it can become a false moon. Birdcast by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology urges people to turn off unnecessary lights during migration, especially between 9 p.m. 5 a.m. That window matters. Because night migration is not a casual stroll, it is a survival corridor. When lights pull birds downward into neighbourhoods, they are more likely to circle, waste energy, hit glass, or land in dangerous places before morning. This is the rare fix that costs almost nothing. Close the curtains. Turn off porch lights you do not need. Kill the glow in unused rooms. Aim outdoor lights downward. A bird may never know your name. One night, a yellow warbler, passing over your house, may stay on its ancient path, because you made the sky dark again. That is not a small thing. That is you choosing the stars for it. Your yard is not a danger zone, but it may not be as safe as it looks from the kitchen window. And that difference matters, because the birds in your yard are not background decoration. They are not tiny moving ornaments placed there to make the morning prettier. They are individuals. The northern cardinal that arrives before the others, black-capped chickadee that lands, takes one seed and vanishes into the same branch every time. Dark-eyed junco that works the ground under the feeder, like it has a small daily job. White-throated sparrow that only appears in season, then leaves you wondering whether it will come back next year. Some of them may be residents, some of them may be migrants. Some of them may pass through your yard once in their whole life, using your shrubs, your oak tree, your feeder, your darkness, your glass. One tiny chapter in a journey longer than anything we can feel from the porch. And the hard part is this. They cannot know which human homes are safe. They can only test them. They fly, they land, they listen, they survive. Or they do not. So the work is not about guilt, it is about access. It is about giving birds a yard. They do not have to decode at full speed. Use window markers spaced close enough to matter. No more than 2 inches apart horizontally and 4 inches vertically across the whole glass surface. Not one hawk sticker in the corner. That does not tell a bird the wall is real. Architectural glass safety research shows that properly spaced markers can reduce collision rates by 50 to 90%, but only when the pattern is tight enough for birds to read zebras. Move feeders out of the danger zone within 3 feet or beyond 30 feet. Check the reflections during the first 2 hours after sunrise and the last 90 minutes before dark. Turn off unnecessary lights from 9 p.m. to 5 m during migration. And if a bird strikes, do not turn your love into noise. Give it darkness. Give it quiet. Give it 30 minutes in a safe cardboard box. That is how you help without overwhelming it. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever heard that soft tap against a window and found a bird sitting below it? And if you have already added window dots, moved a feeder, or started turning lights off at night, I want to hear whether the birds changed how they used your yard. I read everyone. I'll see you in the next.